Hi, welcome to novel writing. I'm super excited. I love creative writing. That's what my master's degree is in. And I've written 3 novels and several short stories, and writing is just everything. I have a blog. I love to write. So I'm excited to have this opportunity to share with you some things that I've learned along the way. We're going to today just kind of get you acclimated to the class. Very excited to be doing this, and I wanted you to see me. So here I am. We're going to, here in just a moment, I'm going to take us right to our course shell, and I'm going to show you all of the different functions and features of our course shell. And we're going to take a look at our syllabus. And after we take a look at our syllabus, then we are going to look at all of the week 1 materials. I'm going to walk you through week 1 so that you can feel confident knowing that you're going to be jumping into this course adequately and more than adequately, with enthusiasm and excitement to sharpen your creative writing toolbox or your skill set. So I'm very excited. This is good stuff. I'm excited to share with you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take us into Blackboard. And I have Blackboard set to student view. So the only things that you're going to be able to view right now on the screen are exactly what you're going to see when you go on our Blackboard course shell. All right, so here we are. Generally, when you go into Blackboard, the announcement screen is what's going to pop up first. Now, perhaps you have seen some announcements coming into your email box already. You always want to be checking your TCC email, because anytime I make an announcement, I'm also going to have it sent to you as an email. So you're getting it 2 ways, in an email and as an announcement on the homepage here in our course. So you can see here that I sent a message recently. And again, this is going to be dependent upon the semester that you're watching this in. But my goal is always to send this list a couple of weeks prior to the start of the course so that you know what the textbooks are and you can accomplish getting those prior to the start of the class. So we'll take a look more at what those are. I'm not going to look at them just yet, but more at what those are when we get to that part in the syllabus. So let's take a look over here at the left side of the screen. What I want you to do is click on Welcome Start Here when you begin. But I'm going to go ahead and walk you through this part. So I have written everything right here that you need to know about what's on that menu to your left, and some additional information that you need to know about the class. So let's go ahead and make our way through the start here. It says, Welcome to novel writing. I hope you're as excited as I am to take this journey together through navigating how to begin to write a novel. There are key steps to success in this course, and in this space, I will lay these out for you. Number 1, watch the Novel Writing Navigating the Course Shell video, which is the video that you're watching right now. Okay. Number 2, from the course menu, read the faculty profile so you can see that it is the next thing underneath Welcome Start Here. It is important that you know who is teaching you and why you can trust him or her to bring you the information. Well, I'm a her, and I need you to know why you can trust me to bring you this information in this course. In the faculty profile, you will learn about me, my education, my teaching style, a bit of my personality, and what I prefer to be called. You will also discover how best to communicate with me. Number 3, from the course menu, read the syllabus thoroughly. Now, I'm going to go over it with you thoroughly today, but it's always a good idea to print out your own copy. See, here's my own copy. Print out a copy and have it with your other course materials or on your desk in your workspace so that you can flip through it, write on it, mark on it, ask questions, like write down things you need to know more about so that you don't forget to ask me, those type of things. It's always good to have a paper syllabus. So a printed copy is a strong idea because you can mark on it, have it in your hands, refer to it, and ensure that you are equipped for success in the course by having a hands-on reference point. A suggestion is to keep it in a folder close on hand to your computer workspace. In the syllabus, you will discover the course description, course outcomes, class expectations, teacher expectations, and the recipe for your success. Number 4, from the course menu, review the course schedule. It is located on the syllabus, but it also has its own menu item on the Blackboard course shell. The course schedule lays out due dates and assignments, as well as lets you know ahead of time what the materials for lecture coursework cover each week of the course. So you can see there, you've got syllabus and course schedule. Course schedule is on the syllabus, but I thought, hey, I'm going to give it to you in 2 spots so you can get to it faster just by clicking on course schedule. You open it up, and I'll show it to you here in just a minute, but when you open it up, you can see exactly what we're going to be doing each week, and it has your due dates on there, and so it's laid out so that you can be organized and keep track of what we have going on. Number 5, open all other available items on the course menu and review so that you are aware of what is available to you through this course. So then there's the announcement section, which you want to check often. These will come to you on Blackboard and through email. Frequently check your TCC email account. Then the weekly content, and I put this in bold because this is where all coursework is laid out by week of class. Assignments, discussions, lecture videos, etc. are all housed under weekly content. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. The water cooler is next. This is a space to ask questions of your classmates. When you're stuck, perhaps, you don't understand an assignment, you find a grammar funny, you find an excellent article on writing that you want to share with the class, a get to know each other. This is a get to know you space. It's not for credit. It is simply for communication. When you have a question about the course, it's very likely that fellow classmates have the same. If the question is of a generic nature, post it to the water cooler, not directly to the professor. This way, when the professor replies, the whole class benefits from the response. As a professor, it's problematic and eye-opening when multiple students email the same question or have the same question. When this happens, the professor will not respond to you directly, but will post the question in the water cooler and respond so that all students can have access to that answer. So the water cooler, it's a great space for us just to be able to communicate. And you might pose a question that maybe I haven't gotten around to answering just yet, but one of your classmates could answer. So we can be helping and assisting each other in that space. If you have a question, though, that is specifically just for me, you're going to text me. Okay, and we'll take a look at how to text me here pretty soon. Handouts. Here you will discover many handouts relating to writing, grammar, editing, outlining, and peer review. Many of these I have created over the years, and I encourage you to save them to your computer and use them. I'm going to open up the handouts here for you in just a moment and show you all of these wonderful things. Then we have the author interviews. These videos contained in this section are also under your weekly content. They are allocated throughout the course for specific weeks of class. This is simply a house for them in total. So you don't need to go into the author interview spot. It's there if you want to, but like I said, those are all allocated throughout your coursework to be viewed at specific times during the course. I see that the Grammarly link is over there between handouts and author interviews. Apparently, I did not put that on the start here. Oops. That is a link to the Grammarly website, and I'm going to talk a lot about Grammarly here in the beginning. I made it a requirement on your syllabus, and I will talk more about why, but there I've given you the link to their website. The discussions content, each of the discussions here are separated out in the weekly content section. This is a space to access all discussion threads available to you quickly. This is why it lives in a division section below the weekly content area on the course menu. So the discussion content, you can access all of the course discussions here, but they are all under weekly content within the weeks where you are to do those assignments. It's just an additional way to get to them. My suggestion is get to them through weekly content. That is going to be the method that's best to keep you on track. So let's see here. There's also the discussion rubric, which I did not have listed on the start here. Apparently, I should have revised this before I got started talking to you. I thought I had everything ready to go. Would you look at that? But the discussion rubric, I'll open that up here in just a moment and show you how it is that I view your discussion threads and what I'm looking for in those. Then we have, I gave you a link to Citation Machine, which is also not listed under the Start Here column. So Citation Machine, if you're needing to do any citations or put together a works cited page for any reason, Citation Machine is a great tool to create those so that your MLA is on point. Now, the next section here, we have a link to the Tulsa Review. All right, this is TCC's literary journal. I have sent or should have sent to you by this time 2 separate emails / announcements regarding the Tulsa Review. One is a call for editors. If you want to be a student editor for TCC's literary journal, we would love to have you. And I can get you in contact with Amy Raines, who is the editor-in-chief. And then also, we are open to submissions until March the 1st of 2024. And so you want to be, if you're writing some shorter pieces, you want to get them submitted. Go for your first time being published. Do it right here locally with us. Prose, so short fiction, art, and poetry are the categories that we publish in the Tulsa Review. So it says any TCC student can submit to the categories of prose, poetry, and art in our yearly student contest and for publication. So please do check it out. So I've given you a link to that website. Also there underneath that, which I have not included in the Start Here list, is a link to a website called Authors Publish. It is a website dedicated totally to new and excited writers who are wanting to learn and discover and communicate with other writers and get some information on working with publishers and getting in contact with publishers and how to know what literary journals or publishers are accepting submissions. And they talk about a lot of those things on that website. Then I also have given you poets and writers submissions. I'm going to talk to you more about both of these when it comes to week 15 and 16. We'll be taking a look more about publishing, but Poets and Writers is a site that I highly recommend that you just check out on your own time. It is, they house a comprehensive list of literary journals and a comprehensive list of small presses. And so you can find places that are open to submissions. Now, as part of one of our projects at the very end of the class, we're going to be using that website to do a project. And so I'm giving it to you now so maybe you can play with it just when you've got a little bit of downtime. Familiarize yourself with the Poets and Writers website. It's a very good resource for you to have. Then next we have the TCC Support Center. So you might have difficulty sometimes locating the Student Support Center. Well, they've given you their link right here. And so if you want to just kind of skip the looking for it, you can come to our course shell and click here. Then we also have the Student Handbook. Every student should be familiar with the Student Handbook. So I have given you a link to the Student Handbook here. You need to know what the policies are that affect you as a student. So be familiar with that. Next, we have a link to the TCC counseling services. You may not have known that we have counseling services available for students here on the campus and online. So you can check that out. Go to that link and it will take you to those resources. Below that is the why at TCC. I discover every semester that there are students that don't know that our fitness facilities are provided through the Y. And so all of our equipment is Y quality. Most of it's fairly new. I believe most of it was installed in fall of 22. So definitely check that out, because as a student, you can get your Y pass as part of your tuition. So take advantage of that. Absolutely. Below this, we have the send email feature where you can email your classmates if you so want to do it in this way, or you could use the water cooler, but depends on if you're wanting to send a more private message. Then we have student grades if you want to check your grades. Attendance, that's not something we're really going to be in much in this class. I have to kind of keep track for the first 2 weeks of class according to who's turning work in and who's not. And we keep track of that for financial aid for the first 2 weeks of class. After that, I'll just be checking, periodically to see who is turning in all of their work and who is not. If I notice that you are not turning in any work, then we'll probably use Starfish to get some departments involved to reach out to you and see if we could be of assistance as a school to help you complete your college journey. Then I put grammar groaners. That's way down here at the bottom. But if you like jokes, upload them here, grammar jokes. If you come across any grammar funnies, you can send them to me also, and then I'll put them in here because that's just a fun thing sometimes. And then we have library resources and the syllabus attachment. The syllabus attachment is where most of our school policies are housed for you as students. So that might seem like a lot, but we've got this, you and me, together. I do communicate with my students via 918-994-2324. Text only. I do not answer phone calls. I actually have that set to not accept phone calls. So text. That is a Google Voice phone number. And so I have the Google Voice app on my phone. It's right here. And so when I get a message on here, I know it is from a student and I will respond. I don't like for my students to have questions and to be sitting out there with a concern or a frustration, waiting and waiting and waiting, because I know you have a life, right? You've got other things going on outside of here, and you don't need to have this stress about my class when I can just turn around and answer your question. So I will try to do that as quickly as I possibly can, unless, of course, I'm sleeping, I'm with my family. I might be up into my elbows making cookie dough or dinner, who knows? But as quickly as I can, I will get back to you. Please don't email me. Those will get lost with all the filters that I have set up on my account. I've been teaching at TCC since 2017, so you can imagine that my email box has a lot of filters set up on it. So use the text number. Only students use that number. Once you have read through the faculty profile, the syllabus, and the course schedule, and you have explored the other areas of the course menu, then navigate to weekly content and click on week 1. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of exploring. Actually, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger, maybe, perhaps there. Maybe you'll see my face a little bit more. Let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus. Now, this is the syllabus, but the paper copy is much prettier. So how do you see the pretty copy? Well, you're going to click right here, right? So let's do that, although I already have it open. So I'm going to put us into what is the paper copy of our syllabus, and let's walk through this version. All right, I much prefer it. So this is what we're going to take a look at. All right, so here we are. And there's that awesome phone number right there and all of its beautiful glory for you. The text number is 994-2324. I respond quickly to text messages. I will do so as soon as possible. Please use this method of communicating with me. Texting. Emails tend to get forgotten amid a flurry of staff, faculty, and junk emails. The text number is for students only. So I'm doing that for you because I want to be able to communicate with you. I'm not trying to hide from you. All right, please do remember, I skipped this, but this is fully an online class. I am going to try to have a minimum of 1 Zoom session with you. And I have that later on in the syllabus here. We'll see that in just a few minutes. So we are a fully asynchronous class, which means you're in a sense on your own. Although the bulk of what we're going to be doing is through discussion threads. So again, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you want to make an appointment to meet with me, my office is at the Southeast Campus, 1103. I will be in office on Tuesdays and Thursdays from about 9:30 to probably 2 or 3 o'clock. Mondays and Wednesdays are going to be hard to reach me because the bulk of my in-person classes are on Mondays and Wednesdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays will be when I'm in the office. Or we can meet on Zoom as well. I mean, I understand some of you are taking online classes because you don't want to come to campus, and I get that. So we can meet over Zoom as well. I do aim to respond to your messages as soon as I receive them. Okay. If I cannot right away, I'm likely asleep, but I will reply to you as soon as I'm awake enough to not be groggy. It is essential that I am available to you as we take this writing journey together. I prefer that we communicate over text. And you guys are like, wow, she has said this like 6 times already. I know. Because I want you to remember it. Repetition is good for the soul. All right. Now let's keep reading. Let's just read it again. In my TCC email, I have multiple folders set up to catch a variety of emails. Occasionally, an email from a student gets filed in a random spot automatically by the email bot. I do not see it in sufficient time to have answered the student's question. Therefore, text is the preferred method of communication. Stop right now and put that number in your phone. Pause the video. All right, so again, here's some information about student support. Like I said, I gave you the link there on our Blackboard course shell, but here is their email address and their phone number. So you can access them through there. It is the same email address and phone number for technical support as it is for pretty much any other question you're going to have. You have a question about something school related, you contact student support. They will get you to the appropriate department for you to get the answers that you need. All right, academic and student services. Again, here are links for you, student resources, and then the MyTCC safety and wellness page. Also the Writing Center. Ooh, the Writing Center. Please give the Writing Center people an opportunity to review your work later in the semester. You know, wink, wink. I mean, they're reading Comp 1 essays all day, Comp 2 essays all day. Take them some creative writing because most of them are writers and they would love to get their hands on some creative writing to help you with some edits and just having some different eyes on your work. So I highly suggest you getting familiar with our Writing Center folk. All right, the course description. The techniques of writing the novel. Lecture, 3 hours. That's the catalog description, but here's a better description of the course. Whether you're a novice writer or someone who's been writing for as long as you can remember, this class will teach you about the craft of fiction and provide what writers need most, deadlines and an audience of informed readers to offer feedback. To learn about the techniques of writing a novel, you will read Stephen King's On Writing and the insights of author Chuck Wendig, along with a novel of your choice, which I actually just removed that, so I need to take that language out. Using what you're learning from our course texts and discussions, we will write 20,000 word projects. Your participation in the discussion forums and your manuscript will demonstrate how well you understand the concepts presented in the readings and occasional Zoom meetings and lectures. So again, I'm hoping to have one Zoom meeting and there will be several video lectures sprinkled throughout. This one today is the longest one. The others will not be quite as long. The contemporary novel is typically 250 pages or 80,000 words. So, needless to say, you won't write an entire novel this semester. Instead, you'll write the basis of what will potentially become a novel-length manuscript. The basis. We will each complete a writing project of 20,000 words. Me too because I like to work right alongside of you. I will participate in your discussion threads. I will post responses and answers as well. I will offer critique. I will offer encouragement. We're all going to be in the discussion threads together. And I'm excited about that. I look forward to your critique as well. So when I write something and throw it in there, I expect you to give me some critique as well. All right? We're doing this together. This course will be conducted using Blackboard and optionally Zoom as needed or requested. So course prerequisites, there are none. However, you need internet access, a good understanding of how to use Blackboard, and the ability to work independently to learn the novel writing techniques and concepts that you need to learn. In addition, students in any sophomore level English class should be able to edit their work for mechanical correctness, meaning we should not be turning in papers and discussion thread projects that have lots of grammatical mistakes in them, which is why I'm requiring Grammarly Premium. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here we go, though. It's coming right up. So textbooks, supplies, and other resources. The required textbooks for this class, we've got On Writing, A Memoir of the Craft by Stephen King. Wonderful book. We have No Plot, No Problem by Chris Batty. Chris Batty is the founder of NaNoWriMo. Some of you may recognize that name. Some of you are like, what the heck is that? It is National Novel Writing Month, which is the month of November, where we write 50,000 words in 30 days. I would love to force all of you to do that. I did that the first time I taught this course, and everyone freaked out. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to stick to a 20,000 word goal and about that same time period. So we'll be writing pretty much during the NaNoWriMo time period. But even though I'm probably going to be shooting for that 50,000 mark, I'm not going to be asking that same level of you unless you want to try. All right. That is a, if you want to try. But so everything that Chris Batty writes in this book is in preparation for the NaNoWriMo season. We also have Structuring Your Novel by K.M. Weiland. So what's so interesting is this book is all about being a pantser, and this book is all about being a plotter. This book's kind of somewhere in the middle, which I love. We need a variety of perspectives from different authors. I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to take a writing class. And we think, okay, there's going to be one set way to do this. And there's not. You need to find what works for you. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. So Stephen King and K.M. Weiland do not write the same way, nor does Chris Batty. And they all have great ideas and good information to share with us. And so those are the three books that we will be reading this semester. All right. The next thing on your list here is Grammarly Premium. All right. And I've given you the link again. This is not optional. If you are serious about creative writing, this is a must-have. I have Grammarly Premium on my computer and on my phone. I use it every day, and I have a master's in writing. So it's a wonderful resource. We should run everything we have through it because it catches our mistakes. And it makes suggestions. There's even like a new AI feature, which I'm not too excited about. But I love Grammarly Premium. So download Grammarly to your computer and put the Grammarly app on your phone. It's a free resource. There is a free version, but I want you to get the premium version. You can look online for some coupons. I pay $140 a year for it, but it's worth it to me because I use it in my personal life, my work life, for all of my classes, for my syllabi, my manuscripts. I use it on everything I do. So I highly recommend that you should be doing that as well. It's not just for this class, it's for everything that you're doing. So great resource. If you have not already, download Microsoft 365 from MyTCC. You can download it from MyTCC on the My Accounts tab. Look for the Student Software Downloads link in the Student Quick Links box. Word has a very useful new editor feature. use this. Word has a fantastic editor feature that is as, no, I need to change this wording. It says it's as good as Grammarly Premium, almost. It's going to catch a lot, but it's not as good as Grammarly Premium. It's just not. But it also gives your essay a grade as you edit it. So what's interesting, though, is I took The Manual of Flowers by Stephen King. I had a paper copy of it, and I ran it through Grammarly, and I read it through Editor. Editor gave it a 92, and Grammarly gave it an 84. So Grammarly catches more. Don't just rely on one, use both. With my books, when I'm writing a manuscript, I'll run it through Grammarly, then I'll run it through Editor, then I'll run it through Grammarly again. I am a little nitpicky that way, but I want my writing to be as free from error as I can get it on my own before someone else sees it. Optional, but a great idea, is The Writer's Market, edited by Robert Lee Brewer. This is a book that is updated every year or two, and it is a house for so many publishers, large press, small press, literary journals, magazines. If it's out there and they are aware of it, they include it in the Writer's Market book. It's an excellent resource for you to get if you are serious about doing this creative writing thing and getting yourself published. If you have this toward the end of the semester, at the end of the semester, you will be able to use it to complete one of our final projects. So I suggest that you get it, but I'm not going to require it. It is optional because there are online resources we can use for that final project as well. But to have the Writer's Market sitting on your shelf is a super great idea. And actually mine is in the other room. Thought it was right here, but it is not. It's in the other room. It might even be, oh, I think it's in my school office, not my home office. So those are our required text. For extra credit, you can purchase my book, A Kiss in the Rain, and read it and give me a critique. You have to give 10 bits of critique, and that's, we'll see that in our assignments listings. On the cool syllabus, the paper syllabus, the one that you open up on your computer, I have given you links to your textbooks. And so each one of these is a link to Amazon. So you can click it. You should be able to click it. There we go. Click it and open link. Okay. And then click it, open link, click it, open link. And those will take you right to Amazon to those books. Also on Blackboard, like I mentioned already, there's a handout section. The handouts includes things like how to use Grammarly, an MLA paper example, how to take notes. I have the Cornell note-taking format handout, how to use note cards to do research, an essay rubric, which it's a great resource for writing. I am so sorry. I don't know why this is happening to me. We're going to go with a cough drop. Okay. So the essay rubric and the essay checklist, or the editing checklist, these are great tools to use when you're editing your paper yourself. So you want to run Editor, you want to run Grammarly Premium, and you want to use your own eyeballs and use an essay rubric and the editing checklist to check your work. Also included is the writing process poster, words spacing fix walkthrough, how to increase your word count. That's awesome. It's my favorite handout. It's like the coolest thing I ever wrote. Yes. Use it for all your classes. Don't just use it for this. Use it for all of your classes. Become an amazing writer, an amazing arguer. And your papers are always the perfect length, if not too long. And there is a comprehensive list of literary elements, a worksheet on, not a worksheet, but a handout on logos, pathos, and ethos. a comprehensive list of logical fallacies, and the writing and outline worksheet, which you can use for all of your other classes. We're not going to need it for this one, and a peer review form. But again, those are mostly what you would need for other classes, but there are a variety of other handouts on there as well. And I'm going to open that up when we jump back onto the course shell. I'm going to show you the different types of things that are in there. All right, so the learning outcomes, the course learning outcomes. The primary goal of this course is to support your development as a novelist. By the end of this course, you should be able to demonstrate the writing process from idea to draft, workshop to revision, and the importance of all steps. Investigate different approaches for planning and outlining a novel, applying them to small writing projects and a 20,000-word novel project. Participate in effective peer review, developing a skill set using workshops as a form of receiving and giving feedback throughout the semester. Revise your final manuscript for inclusion in an all-class anthology collection. I'm so excited about this. We'll talk about it more a little bit later. And create a publishing and marketing plan by using resources and tools from the class. Okay? Those are our learning outcomes for this class, and you will see those repeated through the units of the class. On Thursday, November the 30th at 7 o'clock, go ahead and put this on your calendars. We are going to have that one Zoom meeting. And that is the link for it right there. I've given it to you in several different places. But that will be optional. It is not mandatory because this is an asynchronous class. But at that time, we are going to discuss some aspects of publishing and editing and marketing that I don't want to just leave to a video lecture because I want you to be able to ask questions. So, unit learning outcomes, which include the course learning outcomes and much more. You can see Unit 1 I have called Get Ready. In weeks 1 through 4, we will demonstrate the writing process, practice small writing assignments, investigate different approaches for planning and outlining a novel and small writing projects, and participate in effective peer review. In Unit 2, which is called Get Set, this is weeks 5 through 9. We will investigate and apply different approaches for planning and outlining a novel. We will practice small writing assignments to improve creative writing skills, craft complex, believable, and sympathetic characters, write convincing dialogue that moves a story forward and reveals the character, create vivid, suggestive, and/or symbolic settings, experiment with perspective, tone, voice, and mood, select significant details such as weather that enhance a reader's experience and pull them in, incorporating these in small writing projects. Then Unit 3 is Go. Weeks 10 through 14, this is when we write. We will do small writing projects in weeks 1 through 9, but weeks 10 through 14, this is when we write. We will demonstrate the writing process, and then at the end, we will revise. Oh, no, I skipped it. So, draft a novel that establishes conflict and suspense. That's what we're doing in Unit 3, Go. Then Unit 4, Next Steps. Demonstrate the writing process and revise your final manuscript and develop a marketing plan. So this is what we're doing, and this is how it's broken down. Weeks 1 through 9 are getting us ready. Weeks 10 through 14, we're writing. And then weeks 15 through 17, we're tying it up and putting a bow on top. Okay? That's how this is going to lay out. And we're going to skip through those things. You can read. Teaching methods. I've selected instructional readings, created discussion forum prompts, and will post informative lectures to help you achieve the course learning outcomes. Throughout the semester, I'll endeavor to post weekly announcements that include advice to help you write. I will comment on your discussion forum participation during the week and provide written feedback on your work. You should plan to take notes over assigned readings and videos, participate earnestly in discussion forums, spend sufficient time working on reading your oh, nope, we're skipping that part. This is a no-no. We're not going to be doing the book report. You were like, wow, there was a book report on top. Yes, there was, and I've removed it. We will dedicate the needed time to the novel writing project and, if necessary, seek additional help through the TCC Writing Centers. All right. And then there's the Zoom session thing again. We will have at least one Zoom session. This will be a scheduled, it says mandatory. It is not mandatory meeting at the end of the semester. In this Zoom session, we will discuss, look, I can fix that right here. There we go. Not mandatory. And I will just re-upload this. Oh my, Daisha. Grading policy, late work and assignment grade list. Students who take creative writing courses often believe that such courses are easy A's. I'm sure that was not you. An accomplished writer will tell you that writing well is time-consuming and difficult. So if you're hoping for an A or B in this class, ensure that you have the time and the motivation to do the work. And then I said, since one of us in this class is an accomplished writer, per se, I want to see that you understand the concepts presented in the course and can apply them in our final project. And so we're going to build, and then write. When writing, oh, here, do the work. And A is not out of reach. If you do the work, you can get there. When writing, remember, we worry too much about how people will react to our initial writing. You are too worried about what people are going to say or think. Stop it. We're going to talk about that a few times in the semester. Teach yourself these things. The people who get furious and try to punish me are not my audience. If I try to appeal to the not audience, I won't be happy with my work. The not audience will never be happy with my attempts to appease them. My actual audience won't enjoy watered down work. And so I need to be bold and go there in my writing. Stop worrying about what people think. You be you. Know who you are writing for, and you do that. You please them. Now, this part's in yellow because it's very important. I wanted to stand out. Much of what we do in this course is based on peer review. And some of you are like, oh no, peer review. I don't want to do peer review. Peer review is scary. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad. Hold on. Hold on. Peer review is awesome. And it's actually essential if we want to be creative writers who do well. So, in the discussion threads, you will share your work and critique classmates' work. In these threads, I will offer insights and critiques throughout the week as well. Though I am working to assist you, the students, to help and support each other more than I can just simply offer to you. It is often from our peers that we learn the most. We all have eyes that see things differently, and that is exciting. Well, I think it's exciting. So when you have a discussion thread, there'll be a prompt, and we'll all answer the prompt. And each one of us will post our answer to the prompt. And then you will be required to go in and respond to 5 classmates' pieces. And when you read them, you want to offer them encouragement, but you also want to offer them critique. Perhaps they've mentioned a chair and they gave it one little bit of description and you're curious more about what the chair looks like. Say so. If you can tell they didn't run Grammarly, say so. Say, you know, it might be a good idea if you were to run Grammarly on this before you post the next one. That could be a really good idea. So I highly suggest that. All right. So we'll talk more about the kinds of things we need to be doing with peer review in our discussion threads. Yet here we go. Let's go into this a little bit deeper here. This says discussion thread notes to remember, and this is going to be with every discussion thread prompt I give you. This information is included. Regarding your thread, compose a response to the discussion prompt in Word or Docs using a double-space format. Times New Roman 12-point font. Ensure to use paragraph indentions. Run the written piece through a grammar check before posting it to the discussion thread. Copy and paste to the discussion thread using Control V. Blackboard does not like for us to right-click on our mouse and do paste. It wants us to use Control V. And then when it says remove or keep formatting, you say keep formatting. Points will be deducted for grammatical mistakes, including misspellings, punctuation issues, and formatting not as requested, i.e. obvious lack of care and attention given to writing in a writing course. So when I look at your discussion threads, I want them to be double spaced, Times New Roman, 12-point font. My suggestion is to write them elsewhere, like Word, copy, paste using Control V into the discussion thread. Okay. Regarding, just a moment. Okay. I had to answer the phone, but we're moving on. So regarding your comments on the threads of classmates, with each of these, you are going to read at least 5 classmates' posts and respond to each. If this is not done, it will not submit to me for grading. Be thorough in reading. Offer a minimum of 1 critique and 1 encouragement. If your responses are simply, it was good, with no critique, this will result in a reduction of points. Remember, success in creative writing hinges on peer review. We need each other as others see things in your writing that you cannot. Be as honest with others as you want them to be honest with you. Points are deducted for responses that do not contain a minimum of 1 critique and 1 encouragement. All right. It's important. Trust me. Now, here is a discussion rubric. This is basically a breakdown of how my brain thinks with the point value. So your discussion threads are worth 30 points total. And this is kind of the breakdown that I'll be using in my brain to determine how many points that you receive for each discussion and its threads that you're involved in. So I'm not going to go over this word for word right now, but you can certainly open up your syllabus and make your way through that. And then keep in mind, if on any of these writing projects, if I've asked for 1,000 words and you turn in 2,500, I'm only going to read 1,000. I will stop. I had a student a year ago. Maybe it was in a creative writing class, the intro to creative writing. It was. The project was a 10-page project, and she turned in a 28-page project. I stopped reading at page 10. So she had 18 pages that I didn't read because there's a word limit. So please pay attention to those. Late assignments and makeup work. Any work submitted after its due date will receive a minimum of 10 points reduction. This applies to discussion threads and quizzes as well as writing assignments. Blackboard labels late assignments in the gradebook for me. Know that. If you have something going on outside of school that's causing you to struggle with meeting deadlines, do communicate with me. I'm not unreasonable. If you communicate with me, we can work something out. That is a key. If I am aware of what's going on, I will work with you. If I'm not made aware, I won't. Or at least I'm not so inclined. It's all about communication. My goal is to grade your assignments within a week of submission, because timeliness on my part is essential for you to do well to complete the course. We are a team. So my turnaround on these is important to you being able to move on in the class. And I know that. So I will be working to keep up with you and to be a part of what you are doing. All right, grades will be determined according to the following scale. We do have 18 discussion forums at 30 points each, 7 quizzes at 30-ish points apiece. I think there's one that's 21 points and one that's 26 points. The rest of them are 30. Word count reports, we have 4 of those at 15 points each. our 20,000 word manuscript comes out to be about 150 points total. And the final exam is in 2 parts and it is 100 points total. Now, if you add those all up, you're going to say, hey, Mrs. C, that comes to 1,047. And I'm going to say, I know, but Blackboard says it's 1,017. And I've done the math and I've gone through every assignment. They're all correct. And I come up with 1,047, but Blackboard says 1,017. And so since that's what you're going to be looking at when you're checking your grades, we're going to go with 1,017. So here's the breakdown. All right. So 1,017 points or greater. I did this wrong. I did this wrong. We need to fix this. That would be over 915. And then this would be $813 to $914. Right? And then this would be $711 to $812. This would be $609 to $710. Whoops. And then this would be anything below 608. Oh, yes, I definitely need to correct this and get that submitted to you all the right way. So I'm going to be doing that. Here, let me. See, it's always a good thing to make adjustments and changes. See, I'm all about editing. And in a sense, you could say this is a little bit of peer review because I'm letting my audience read this and I'm making changes as I go. So I know you're going to be looking at this and being like, wow. So we're going to save that, replace existing file. All right, here we go. Let's keep moving. We've got that fixed. So anything greater than 915 points will be an A. Anything between 813 and 914 will be a B. Anything between 711 and 812 is C. Anything between 609 and 710 is a D. And anything below 608 is an F. Now, the next thing here, the life happens pass. Sometimes life gets in our way. Students can utilize this pass for one assignment during the semester, except the final submission of the 20,000 word writing project. All right. Except for that, you can use the Life Happens Pass for anything else one time. Copy the pass into a text message to Professor Cunningham at the text number 918-994-2324. Explain in your text why you're utilizing the pass. This can only be done one time in the semester. All right. In an online course, attendance regularly logs onto the course website when you visit the course shell. It does show on my end. So you should plan to visit the site several times a week to read announcements, participate in activities, and post assignments. What's going on here? Check this out. Watch this. Woo! Back to correct. Okay. The water cooler that we've already talked about, so I don't need to read this section again. But the water cooler is the area that we can ask questions, and anybody can answer those questions, so that's a super cool thing. Academic freedom. Higher education fosters intellectual and personal growth through exposure to and interaction with various ideas, creative expressions, and information. Especially in a creative writing class, students need the freedom to pursue their creative work. With that freedom, some students will write about highly sensitive topics and produce work that is not G-rated. I don't censor anything students choose to submit or anyone's comments about works of fiction. However, I expect everyone to be respectful when discussing their classmates' work. I expect all fiction, regardless of the subject matter, to demonstrate a solid understanding of fiction writing techniques. And so I will ask the same of you. I'm not going to critique someone if I disagree with the content. I will be looking at their technique and helping them with their technique. I have read papers sometimes where I'm like, oh yeah, this is so offensive. But did they write it according to the techniques? Then okay, right? So when you are peer reviewing, it's that same idea. We're looking at the technique. We're looking at, are the characters built well? Is the setting clear? Did that tornado come in just like it should, or was that kind of questionable, right? We're going to be looking at some very specific aspects and ideas. And so that's what we're critiquing, not the content as far as you don't like the fact that this is a based in a church and it's very religious and has lots of the Bible in it, or that it is a satanic piece and it's all about witchcraft. Everyone has freedom of expression. We can write about what we want to write about. If you're going to throw the F-bomb around, you're going to write sex scenes. I mean, it is what it is. We are here to learn the craft of writing. And so we need to be respectful of one another in this environment, right? Classroom etiquette. Open and mutually respectful communication of varied opinions, beliefs, and perspectives during the classroom or online discussion encourages the free exchange of ideas essential to higher learning and the ability to learn from each other. Also, you never know what someone else is battling on any given day. We all have good days, we all have bad days, and each of us has our own story. And so with that, each of us is going to choose to write about something that internally actually kind of represents us. And so if you're thinking of slamming somebody's, particular use of this type of character or something, you need to consider who they are and what their background might be. Just focus on their craft. Focus on their ability to use the technique that we are under discussion that week. Right? Academic dishonesty, we're just not cheating. We're just not cheating. You're not going to take somebody else's words and put them down as if they're your own. We're not doing that. Okay? We're just not doing that. Don't let me catch you doing that. I mean, it's a creative writing class, right? You're in here because you like to write. So that's not even an issue. Disabilities resources. If for any reason you need to contact the disabilities office, you can write down here where it says accessibility services. You can reach them. Here's their email address and their phone number. If perhaps you had an IEP in high school and you haven't gotten that transferred over to TCC, that is your responsibility. Right? So you have to take care of that. You have to bring it to the attention of the accessibility office that you need some concessions in the classroom. You can't come to me with that. You have to go to the accessibility resources with that, and then they alert your professors. So we go through red tape with that, if you will, and I'm grateful for the process. So please know that we are here to assist, though, and I'm happy to assist. You need to know about me that I do have 2 children who are on the autism spectrum, and I had to fight as a mama for them while they were in school. So I know a little bit about students with needs. Okay, so just letting you know that about me. FERPA. You need to know if when you enrolled in school, if you signed a FERPA form or not. This is the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. It is a form that states that your parent or your spouse or a friend or your lawyer or whoever else can contact the school and ask for information for or about you, right? As your faculty member, if I hear from a parent, a spouse, a friend, a lawyer, anybody, the news, my response to them is, don't know who you're talking about. And I send it, if it's coming in an email, I send it directly to my supervisor. My supervisor will then have the appropriate department, the registrar's office, check to see if you have a FERPA file on form. If you do have a FERPA file on form and it says that the school can communicate with your parent, a note will be sent back to me that states it is okay for you to talk with this person regarding this student. But that's a process and it takes some time. But I am legally bound to not even acknowledge who you are. I'm not going to say, yeah, they're in my class, but I can't talk to you. I don't even respond to those emails that come from people who I don't know who they are. I am not going to violate your privacy. So I will send that on to an appropriate department and they will handle it. They will look to see if you have signed a FERPA form that says that we can communicate with different individuals in your life. But without that information, we can't even acknowledge that you're a student at TCC. All right. So be aware of that. Very important. I am legally bound by that. Course withdrawal. If for any reason that you get to a spot where you feel like you need to withdraw from the class, please pay attention to the withdrawal dates. You don't want to end up owing a whole lot of money for a class that you didn't finish. So you need to pay attention to the withdrawal dates. I put here, I want all students to succeed in my class, but sometimes students miss so much that they jeopardize their chances of passing. When this happens, I email students to let them know how to remain in the class, or I will message you, I will text you, but I also will make a note on Starfish, and other departments in the school will reach out to you. Students who continue to miss deadlines or do not submit a novel manuscript draft will be withdrawn from the class for non-participation. Although I hope you don't, you may also withdraw from the class. Please be aware that failing a class or withdrawing from a class or being withdrawn can have serious repercussions for students receiving financial aid and their GPA, as well as how transcripts look to future employers. An F on your transcript does affect your GPA. A W does not. However, a collection of W's looks not so great to a prospective employer. So you need to keep that in mind. All right, so the rest of the syllabus here, Starfish is our early warning alert system that we have at the school. If I have a concern about you, or if I'm super proud of you for something, I put a note in a Starfish, and that alerts other departments as to how you're doing in the course. Well-being, here we go. I'm reminding you about TCC Wellness Services. Here's a listing out of the different things that TCC provides for you as students here. And here's their email address, but that's their website link. So you can go and you can discover how we can help you through all 8 dimensions of wellness. It's pretty exciting, actually. There's additional information to the syllabus, and most of that is housed in the syllabus attachment on the Blackboard course shell, and it does contain information regarding all of these items. Now, here we go. We're almost to the most important part. In big blue letters, I said, I aim to review or comment on all student work within 2 weeks of submission. Turnaround time is important to me. How can you know what you need to improve if I do not provide you with quick feedback, right? Right. We are a team. So let's look at our course schedule. Here it is. So Unit 1, you can see we have 4 columns. The first one is the week and the date. The second column is due, anything that is due at the beginning of that week. And then readings and lectures for the current week, and work to be completed on Blackboard for the current week. So here we are, week 1. You need to look at your syllabus and your course schedule for whichever semester you are in. This video may end up being around for a while, so I'm not going to talk about specific dates. Look at your own syllabus and your own course schedule for these dates. But in week 1, we'll be discussing laying it out. Print and read the syllabus. View the week 1 lecture, which is what this is. And then you're going to read 25 things writers should know about rejection. And all through your course schedule and on your weekly content, you will have a link to those readings from Chuck Wendig. They are all taken from his blog, which is purely about writing. And so you will click on that and read through it. Something you need to know about Chuck is Chuck likes to cuss. He has great information, though, wonderful ideas. He likes to cuss. So just preparing you in advance for that. I also, in week 1, have given you a video lecture of peer review. It is the same video lecture that I use for all of my classes that I teach. So I teach Comp 1, Comp 2, Intro to Creative Writing, and Novel Writing. So for all of the courses that I teach, it's the same video. But I've given it to you. I would highly suggest that you read it just to get kind of a good feel about peer review. I mean, we'll be doing it on a much more concentrated, in a much more concentrated way with our discussion threads. At the end of the semester, though, we will be doing it according to the way it's laid out in that video when we start to do peer review on our manuscripts that we've written. So the work that you'll need to complete for this first week of class would be discussion forum introduction and the discussion forum I couch potato. You will also have the readings quiz one. All right. And so the readings quizzes come off of anything that's been assigned as reading inside of this section. All right. Next week, you can see those things are due. We will, the concentrated materials will be, and there is not going to be a week 2 lecture. So some weeks there will be, some weeks there won't be. If there isn't one, you don't need to contact me and say, oh, Mrs. C, where's the lecture? I'll probably go in and make a note that says no lecture this week. All right. The readings cover what it is that we need to be discussing. Plus, I have given you the author conversations throughout, which is wonderful. And I don't want to overwhelm you with too much lecture when you've got these author interviews to watch as well. So next week, you'll be reading from On Writing. Those are the pages. No Plot, No Problem. Only one page. And then watching the author conversation with Bill Wetterman. Right. And then your homework next week will be to write a 500-word memoir. Write about something that scared you. And there's a lot more to the actual description of the assignment on Blackboard under weekly content. You will also have readings quiz 2 for homework at the end of week 2. And so you can follow the course schedule as you go down. You see that in week 3, we're talking about our writer's toolbox. We have an author conversation with Shannon Yarbrough, reading on writing, reading structuring your novel, and reading an article from Chuck Wendig. There are a couple of different discussion forums as well as a quiz. Week 4, we'll be talking about structure. We're going to be talking about, are you a pantser or a plotter? Or are you both? Right? And there is an author conversation with Joshua Dankert-Dake. Right. Then we start Unit 2, Week 5. We're talking about characters. Love Week 5's discussion. Tell Me About Your Uncle is one of my favorite things to read. I can't wait till we get there. It's super fun. The author conversation is with Rex Griffin. He is a really nice guy. He's a Civil War reenactor, and he loves to incorporate history into his writing. Most of the people in these author conversations are from the Tulsa Night Writers writing group. They are local authors. Some of them have international selling books, or at least within the United States. They're really fascinating people, and I was very blessed to get to interview all of the individuals that I did. One of the interviews that you have coming at you is from Rilla Askew. She is on the creative writing faculty at OU. And so maybe some of you are planning on to go further your education at OU. If you do, try to get into one of Rilla's classes. She's such a neat lady. When I interviewed her, I was like, oh, like fangirling, like it was like all giggly and everything. It was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and that is going to show up here in one of these weeks. But these are all wonderful. The first one I've given you is Shannon Yarbrough. He is a friend of mine from St. Louis, so that might be in week 3. But he's a friend of mine from St. Louis. We were in a writing group together in St. Louis, and he's got some really great information to share with you about writing and getting published. So back down to here. So week 6, we're going to be talking about setting. Okay. And we will have a couple of writing assignments on discussion thread. Well, one on the discussion thread that deals with setting. And then in week 6, I want you to have picked what your storyline is going to be for your 20,000 word project. And so we're going to talk about what our storyline is and who our characters are. All right. In week 7, plot. Now, in week 7, we're not going to have an author conversation. We are going to watch How to Write a Dynamic Act 1, which is a video lecture provided by the Authors Publish site. I watched it, and it's really well done. It's good. And so I know that you will enjoy it and be able to take some interesting information from it. So I've included it into our curriculum. I wrote the company and asked if we could do that, and they said, absolutely, please share us with your students. So I'm excited to do that. The Person and the Thing game is a fun discussion forum for that week of class. I'm excited about that one as well. A lot of these are fun. They're just a really good time, especially for those of us that truly love creative writing. I'm going to challenge you with some things that you're going to be like, okay, right? Especially week 8. Oh my goodness. So we're going to talk about twists, and we're going to be talking about inserting weather into your writing. All of your writing should contain elements of weather. I mean, we face weather every day. It's so hot outside right now. It's literally like registering with the heat index 115. I'm not going out there. So it adjusts everything about how you plan your day and work through your day, what the weather's doing. And so the weather should be constantly affecting your characters. So excited about it. I love it. It's really good stuff. So we have author conversation with Carolyn Steele that week, as well as other readings. Week 9, conflict. And our discussion thread is beefing it up. So we're going to throw some conflict into our stories and then help each other out with that conflict. And that is the Rilla Askew week, where I was fangirling and it probably got a little giggly. It's fine. It's fine. And then week 10, unit 3. Are you ready? We're doing it. So in week 10, we're going to start writing. The goal is 5,000 words that first week. Every week that we're writing for 4 weeks. You're going to be hitting a goal of 5,000 words per week. Okay. There's a little bit of reading with each week, but I want you focused on your writing. All right. And there is 2 discussion threads at the end. The discussion threads each week are what's your word count and what are your thoughts after writing that week and what's your favorite line. Okay. They're more in depth on the Blackboard course shell. You can actually read the full instructions there. Week 2 of that, which is week 11, another 5,000 words. So you should be at 10,000 by the end of that week. Then week 12, which is week 3 of writing, you should be at 15,000 by the end of that week. And then in week 13, which is week 4 of writing, we should, at the end of that week, hit our 20,000 word goal. Very exciting. I'm super excited to do this with you, and I will be doing it with you. Okay. I will be writing as well, and I'll be posting mine in there too in the discussion thread. So you guys will have the opportunity to critique me as well. Week 14, be a Grammarly guru. We are going to take that manuscript that we've written, our 20,000 word project. I want you at this point, you're going to determine what part of that is your first chapter. And we're going to be working on just the part of it that's your first chapter. It's probably not going to be all 20,000 words, but I do want you hitting your 20,000 word goal. So we're going to be working on just what we consider to be the first chapter part, and we're going to run Grammarly and Words Editor. We're going to edit. We're going to have a discussion on editing that week. That's going to be when you do the editing on that manuscript, and you're going to upload an edited copy of your first chapter at the end of that week. Week 15, we will be doing peer review of those first chapters. We're going to watch an author conversation with Nancy Erickson that week. Nancy Erickson is a friend of mine. She is the owner of Stonebrook Publishing in St. Louis, Missouri. She is also the book professor. She's a fantastic lady. We went through our master's programs at the same time, and we got to know each other there. And I'm very proud of Nancy, and I'm very excited to share her with you. She's got some interesting insight into the publishing world, as that's what she does. And so I've got some really great information from her there for you, and on the Blackboard course shell. But that week we will be doing peer review, and I will explain more about that when we get closer to that time. Week 16. In week 16, that's when our Zoom meeting will be. Again, it will be optional. It is not mandatory, but I highly recommend that you get it on the calendar and you try to be in attendance at that, because I'm going to be talking about pulling it all together, right? How to use KDP through Amazon. I'm going to be introducing you to some other publishing opportunities. We'll talk about the Writer's Market book. I'm going to show you the Poets and Writers website, take a look at what Authors Publish has. We're going to take a look at the Page Turner Awards. There's a whole lot of different ideas and things out there. We're going to take a look at what some of the writing groups are in our area, just different things that you need to know and be aware of. And then I will assign the final exam. There are 2 projects in the final exam. And you can see those listed here. We're going to fill out a publisher's logging chart and a contest logging chart. And these were both assignments that I had when I was working through my master's degree. These were both assignments that we had, and I know that they are effective. I know that I learned a lot from doing them, and so I wanted to bring those and put them into a novel writing class as well. And you will have until December the 7th to complete those and get them turned in by midnight. So that's our course schedule. That's where we're headed. Again, reminder, extra credit is if you want to read A Kiss in the Rain, which is on Amazon, you can read it and then make a list of any typos or issues found. I believe it's 10, and write a suggestion to fix each one of them. Number these in an MLA formatted document. And if you get that turned in, there will be extra credit involved. All right. Okay. So that is our syllabus. And probably at this point, you might want to pause and go take a drink of water. But I'm just going to keep on going. I want to show you a few more things. So let's just look at what the course schedule looks like here. Okay, so you open it up, it looks like exactly what we just went through. All right, announcements. All right, that's going to be the first screen that you see. And most weeks I will be posting things here. And like I said, they come to you as email also. Weekly content. This is going to be your home for everything. Now I have everything else closed. So all you can access right now is Unit 1 and Week 1. Now this is going to be the video that I'm recording right now. Will be taking place of that one here shortly. I recorded this one in the summer before I made some major changes to our course shell. So I'm going to be replacing this video. Here is the peer review lecture video. So again, this is for all of my classes, but it is essential to take some time, watch this so you can understand why we peer review and why it's so important. The discussion thread, peer review rubric. So we saw that in the syllabus. So here it is again. And then laying it out. Each week it's going to say laying it out, and here's kind of what you need to do. So print and read the syllabus, view the week 1 lecture, which is again what I'm doing right now. And then you're going to read 25 things writers should know about rejection by Chuck Wendig. And you can see when I highlight over it, it's got the little hand. Click on it. It's going to open up here, give you a link that you can click on, and it will take you to that website. Okay. Now, here are your 2 discussion threads. The introductions. So with the introduction, it just says introduce yourself to the class in 3rd person as if you are a character in a novel or a memoir. Do not start with Laura is a. Start with a subordinate clause, some scenery, a scream, something. Let this be an introductory paragraph to what might become chapter 1 of your novel. And knowing who the main character is paramount to the jumpstart of the story. Give yourself no less than 3 major details, including why your character is interested in being a writer. Right? right? Feel free to say hello to your classmates in this discussion thread because I will be doing so. There is not a requirement to respond to other classmates in the introduction, although it would be nice if we did. All right, I highly recommend that you do. And you can subscribe to these forums too, so they send you emails when someone has added something. You can get a subscription so that you're getting notifications. Week 1, also, I couch potato. All the rigors of homework. Pick any TV show that you enjoy. Just make sure it's fictional and make sure it isn't one that you love so much that you will lose track of the assignment, which is this. Sit down in front of the television and put on your thinking cap and watch critically. Whatever show you've chosen, from The Simpsons to CSI, keep an eye out for how the writers tackle the same challenges you're facing in your writing. Try to fit a lot of story into a little time. They're trying to fit a lot of story into a little time. Most TV shows have a main plot garlanded by 1 or 2 subplots. Some give each of the show's main characters a role in processing a single plot. Answer each of the following questions in this discussion thread regarding your show choice. Number 1, how many plots does your show juggle? Number 2, how long does it wait before introducing the central problem? Number 3, how and when does it use foreshadowing to let the viewers know what's coming? Number 4, how is the story divvied between the main characters? And number 5, is the outcome predictable? Number 6, if you liked some aspect of the show's story, are there structural devices, pacing, narration, anything that you can steal from it? All right, this is a great way to help you see the tropes of storytelling laid bare. TV shows are a treasure trove of storytelling wisdom, both good and bad. And then there are those points that I have said are going to be on each one of your discussion threads where you're required to comment on your classmates' papers. And you'll need to comment on 5, not on their papers, but on their discussion threads. So you'll need to comment on at least 5 before it submits to me for grading. Okay. And so that's what you're going to be doing for week 1. It's pretty exciting. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get in and read what you have to say. And I've got to write my own post because I want to get my posts in there too. Let's click on handouts. Just want you to see what's all in here. So it starts out with this nifty thing I put together called Collection of Professor Cunningham's Comments on Essays. So I combined a whole lot of comments that I've made on discussion posts, on essays, just a variety of places. And I put them all into one document. So it's I put them under categories as well, so that if you want to see how I grade or the kinds of things that I say, and you might even just want to read through that because you could really learn some things from what it has to say, especially because over half of it would be from a novel writing class or a creative writing class where I drew these comments. So I highly suggest that you open that up and take a look at it. Here's 50 pieces of Stephen King's greatest writing advice. That's just fun. I like that. Some writing handouts, tips, tricks, and ideas. I'm not going to read all of those. Editing handouts, grammar handouts, the writing and outline or argument outline and process worksheet. You guys can use this for your other classes. I don't have a copyright on it. Use it, keep it. It's for you. Literary analysis handouts, rhetorical analysis handouts, job skills articles. We're not going to even talk about job skills in here, which I do with my comp classes. But if you need some help with job skills stuff, I've got a resume template, a cover letter. Well, I hate the word template. I've got an example resume, an example cover letter, and some articles that are very important for you to read here. And then these last 2 things are how to use a wiki in Blackboard. And inside your peer review group at the end of the semester, we're going to be using peer review groups online, and we will be using the wiki feature. And so when we get to that point, I've got some helps in here for you. I'll probably do a video that gives an explanation, but I did put that there for you. All right. I feel like we've covered everything pretty thoroughly. I'm super excited. I love this class. I love what we accomplish. I love how all of the course materials build upon each other and take us to where we're finally ready to start doing this massive project And I like when we get to the end of that and you have a feeling of accomplishment. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm super excited to be doing that with you. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, or at least the share part, and bring it back. Again, I'm excited, and I hope that you're excited. Creative writing is how we express ourselves, and it is, for some of us, it is necessary. Sometimes I find myself just like, I need to write, I need to write, I need to write. Like it's an obsession. I need to write. And, it doesn't even matter if anybody sees it. I need to write. And so I will sit down and I'll probably usually then at that point I get on my blog, or I'll open up one of my manuscripts that I'm working on, and I will spend some time just writing, because I need to. I have to. I got to get the words out. And so if you understand what that means or how that feels, then you're in the right place. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And I'm going to let you go for now. But like I said, there won't be a video lecture next week, I don't believe. But definitely in week 3, I'll have something to say. All right. See you around.